I will call the meeting of the Committee on Committees to order. Don't know if we have everybody, but I would ask the clerk to take a roll and see.
Carol,
Exactly, yes.
Glassbrenner, Turk,
Here.
Frank,
Still, yes.
Severson,
Sure.
Williamson.
Here.
Carrie will not be at the board meeting.
Okay, Williamson,
Here.
you have 5 or 4.
Okay, we have a quorum.
Right. Yeah.
And we are in compliance with the open meetings law. Okay. We have a 4SA 10-point agenda. Do I have a motion to approve that agenda? Yes.
And, the difficulty hearing.
Yeah, for those who are here in attendance, our sound system, we have become aware in this building, picks up side conversations a lot better than it picks up the main speaker in a meeting, unfortunately. And so for those listening online, it really disrupts their meeting experience when we have side conversations going on. So if we just please be conscious of that. Keep side conversations. If you need to talk, you can step outside and do that so it doesn't interfere with those online hearing the rest of what's going on at the meeting. Thank you. Okay, now looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Frank. Second by Carol. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? You have 2 sets of minutes before you from August of 2024 and December of 2024. That was our most recent meeting of this committee. Anybody have corrections, issues, comments on either of those sets of minutes? If not, the chair will declare those to be approved. Public comment, item 6 on our agenda for the Committee on Committees. Any public comment for this committee? Anybody online have comments? All right, hearing none, we will move on to item 7, discussion and possible action on appointments to various committees, boards, and commissions. We have right now a vacancy on the county board. It'll be our April meeting before we act to fill that vacant seat. And so one thing I would ask you is, even though we have a number of vacancies on committees, we should also consider that when we bring that newest person onto the board, we need some committee assignments for them. So we may wish to leave certain ones vacant in anticipation of that new member being seated. With that said, there are a few we do need to act on tonight. And yes, if you would please.
Okay, so I think in your packet, you should all have the updated, it says last
Wait,
updated.
what's here on the chart?
Yes, February 18th. I will change that to tonight when appointments are finalized. But the ones to touch on tonight, the first one would be the Aging Unit Advisory Committee. So if we can go to that one, it's on the first page of your other boards and commissions one. So this one's interesting. There is a vacancy that was for Mr. Brewer. So that's why that vacant line is there. And then we also already have Larry Engel, Supervisor Engel, in this committee. So in speaking with Roxanne from the ADRC, what I'm looking approval for is to move Larry Engel up to replace Marty's position on the board. And then that non-specific client group, there is Roxanne will do her advertisement to seek that committee member because it's not a county board member, but there are some potentials to fill that. So the first appointment would be to move Larry Engel into the county board spot, and then we would fill the non-specific client group one when those ads are out, and we'll go from there. So I can make that appointment later, but do that one for now. So that's the first one I have.
We want to act on these individually or just put a list together and vote on them all at once?
I'll have the list ready for you when we're there.
That's fine, keep going.
Okay, let's keep
Okay,
rolling.
so we're good with that. So we'll move Larry Engel over into that one. The next one would be Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. So if you go down for that one, this one, Trish and I have looked at the.
Before you get to that,
Sorry.
there is a vacancy for Committee on Committees, but that has to be elected by the full board. So that's not one vacancy that we'd be addressing tonight, so.
Would we
Yeah.
wait until after the new board member?
Right. Yeah, so then Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee would be the next one. This, Trish and I have looked at this, actually need to give Trish credit for looking up the statute for this to determine how this should properly be staffed as a committee. So in doing that, research told us 165.955 sub A outlines that the composition of that committee. So I don't know if a county board supervisor has always been super present for that committee, but nonetheless, we do need to have a county board supervisor, posted to that committee. So my recommendation for this appointment would be Mr. Engel. I know he's not present now, but, I can ask.
Just
him
time to get them.
You don't show up, you get assigned work.
That's right.
So I would, entertain a motion to,
Not because I was looking back at our. We don't have in our packet that original assignment thing. So I know that when he first came on, you guys gave him multiple assignments. Did you kind of compare then to like, was there anybody that was lower assignments that should possibly get?
Larry was a little lower on committee assignments because he did come in later, he came in
Yeah,
later,
I-
so.
The meeting that I missed, which was in December, it looks like he got assigned to
Who was assigned to Simon? Yeah, there was,
emergency planning,
Yep.
science, and prosperity.
Yep.
Southwest.
Yep. Prosperity Southwest is really just an outside organization.
Yes.
It's not.
Okay. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that we're still referencing that.
Yep.
yes, yeah, yep. Yeah, I don't have, I was thinking someone was going to ask me for the exact number of all the committees, but when we had remember when we did our little math that night?
Yeah,
With the, I don't have that piece of paper anymore because it just was, notes, but, so Larry Engel will be that appointment if
but we
that's-
should still
assuming he's
have
willing.
the final.
Yeah, I mean, the spreadsheet I was keeping when we were like, this person has 5, that has 4, it was just an Excel sheet. So Larry Engel for that one, I will, offer that recommendation. And then just going through our sheet here, ignore the ethics committee, we're gonna work on getting that staffed at some point. We just, we'll
Gotta
talk
create
about
it
that
first.
later. Yeah, right.
Great before the start.
So then the next one would be Mississippi Valley Health Services Committee. We're going to skip that one for now, so just leave that one. Be one of them we'll fill later.
Be clear, we haven't had somebody in that seat for a while.
Very long time.
That wasn't Marty. I didn't remember if
No.
that had to be one from the Community Health Services Board.
No, it does have to be a county board supervisor, but
Yeah, but like a county board supervisor who also sits on.
No.
No.
It's
It
the
has
county
to
board
be,
supervisor.
might make sense to, but it doesn't have to.
Okay, because that's the other one we'll have to fill.
Yes.
But are you thinking we wait until after we?
Yeah, the standing committee one.
Yes.
Yes, we'll fill that.
Is there a way, like, maybe we could still put some interest in that too? I prefer it to be somebody who, wants to be on the community.
I think what I would do is once we get, the new board member in, then review, update this list and then, we can send out if anyone wants to be on that committee, that can happen as well. Yep. Okay, so we skip Mississippi Valley for now. And then if we go down to Pine Valley would be the next vacancy. And that was, another one by Marty, but we will fill that, once we have a new supervisor in place. So then the next one, when you go down, is to Southwest Wisconsin Library System Board. So this one also has a citizen member and a county board member. So we have Supervisor Hendricks on that board, filling the Richland County board member spot. And then as far as the Richland County citizen, I did receive, a letter of interest or a notation of interest from Joan Kepler. She did reach out to Angela Knoll, back in January, actually. So I did speak with her, yesterday and confirmed her interest still in being the citizen member of that committee. So my recommendation for that would be Joan Kepler. Okay, then we go on to Tri-County Airport would be the next one. Again, one of those spots also held by Marty, and in speaking with Chair Turk tonight, we would like to fill, this one tonight, actually.
Yeah, and we only have 2 representatives on that committee, so right now we only have Mr. Williamson. So we would like to get back to where we have 2 people active on that committee.
And Richland, or Saw County's gone to 6.
Oh, okay.
They have 6 members on this? So it's
6 or
two-
4, we had 4 and 2, whatever it is, because they pay 2/3.
Oh,
Right.
So 4 and 2 would make sense.
sure with me.
So 6 total. Yeah, actually, we meet Thursdays.
And for this seat, we have 2 supervisors interested. So we'd be looking for, see what the committee thinks here. Supervisor Dan McGuire and Supervisor Julie Fleming have both expressed willingness to serve on this. So we would need to pick one of those. Committee have any input?
I would say Julie Fleming.
I agree. Dan, I don't know what's going on with Dan, I think some help.
What, Ingrid said?
Yeah, that was, how often do you meet? I know she struggles
Every
sometimes.
month.
Yeah, the third Thursday at 11 a.m.
And she knows that when she.
Julie, I talked to her about it.
Because sometimes she's had trouble with her work.
Yes,
She thought she could make that work.
And Dan reached out to me, so I didn't hear from Julie about any of that interest, so I guess I didn't know if she knew the schedule. I know I spoke with Dan about it, so.
Because if it doesn't, we come back and change it.
So we will go with,
Julie Fleming.
that one for now and.
Okay.
And then the last, so then continuing that list, going on to the next one, the ad hoc committees, we do have a vacancy in that campus reconfiguration committee. So that was again, another one of those held by Marty, which will fill once we seat the next, board member then. The last one I have to fill that's not on this list because it's again, kind of like Prosperity Southwest or Southwest Prosperity. I always get that name turned around, would be the Lower Wisconsin State Riverway Board. So we have to, by May 1st, have 2 appointments made for that board. Mr. Williamson, I believe you and Dan Hilberry are the 2 that I had to be your name sent off to be on that board. I did speak with Mark Cup. He sent me this email on February 13th, but I know he came into the office before that, noting that under the state law, we had to have those appointments sent to Anusha Ramsden and Governor Evers' office by May 1. So the two appointments I would say for that are yourself, Steve Williamson, and
He
Dan.
still wants 2?
Yes,
I thought it was, used to be only move 1 on.
2 and then one and an alternate, but you gotta provide 2. So if that would be, my recommendation for that would be Supervisor Williamson and Mr. Dan Hilberry, which I believe,
What
Ms.
is that committee? What is it?
Lower Wisconsin State Riverway Board. They administer the state riverway, the lower Wisconsin River area that they have a zone of control over.
Prepare a second per sheet. I was on it and I asked Dan to take my place. So I believe they only need 1, but I don't.
He says we're required to submit a minimum of 2 names to the
and I
governor
think-
for his
I
consideration.
think they encourage.
Those are governor appointed.
No, you submit them to the governor's office.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
Anyway,
I don't know.
Whatever, Mark.
of that, but
he's been the only director they've ever had in 35 years.
Yeah.
he's the executive director for it, yeah. So I would give up those 2 names and Steve Williamson and Dan Hilberry for that,
All right.
that committee, and those are the only
So
ones.
that's
I
our
have.
list. Couple of people whose names have popped up have now joined us in the room. We should probably chat with them. Mr. Engel, we discussed flipping your role in the Aging Unit Advisory Committee. You were currently a member of that, but you were in as a non-specified community member. Now that you are our county board supervisor, we flipped you to the county board supervisor slot on that committee. Okay, and then your name also came up as a potential nominee for the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee. We need a county board supervisor to serve on that committee. Would you be willing?
No, not that one.
Not that one? Okay, we'll take your name off that then. Good thing you got here.
And
Is
then,
that urgently to be filled, or could we look for some?
I think we could maybe wait, we can, Trish is on.
Yeah.
Trish, do you have a moment for question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, regarding the Criminal Justice Coordinating Committee, I know you and I have been kind of hashing that one out in terms of what the composition should be. We arrived at the conclusion that we do need a county board supervisor. How urgent is it to fill that in your opinion?
I don't think it's urgent because since I've been here, we haven't had a county board member on the committee. So I think waiting another couple of months is not going to harm anything.
Okay, that makes sense.
Ouch.
Okay, so let's hold on that one then, okay?
Thank you, Tricia.
Thanks, Trish.
Yep.
Dave, actually, I'll retract that. I'll do it.
Okay, you'll do it? Unexpected development, Trish. Get it filled.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Supervisor Engel. And then Supervisor Fleming, Tri-County Airport, would you have interest in serving in that? Sure. You will be nominated then, or appointed, so. And I think that takes care of our list. I have nothing else.
Gets us down to our list. So for the committee, we look for a motion to advance those to the full board.
Motion.
By Frank, second by Glassbrenner. Further discussion on the names. Otherwise, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed. All right, we'll advance those to the board. Any correspondence for the Committee on Committees?
No, sir.
We will be having a meeting again sooner than like 3 or 4 months because we have some other cleanup stuff we need to do on our committee lists. And then we will have other committee slots to fill after our April full board meeting when we appoint the successor member to Supervisor Brewer's seat. So be watching for that. Future agenda items besides those things for the Committee on Committees?
The only other thing I will note is that, as Supervisor Turk said, there's some cleanup that needs to be done in Appendix A, just kind of, again, cleaning some of that up, so I'll bring that forward and we'll kind of, you'll see a thing to modify Appendix A.
That's our committee structure appendix, so. Right, if there are no other future agenda items, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Carol. Second by Frank. All those in favor say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just